This is lecture 3. This is our third part of our Congress and legislative branch discussion. What are the jobs and duties of Congress? One of the most important jobs of Congress or the legislative branch is called the power of the purse. Who controls the purse? Controls the money. That's what Congress controls. Congress has the power to spend money, borrow money, tax, and it has oversight, which is actually really powerful. We talked about this quite a bit in class. It's the ability to call in people who spend Congress's money. It could be the Department of State, Hillary Clinton for Benghazi. It could be Planned Parenthood for funding that they receive that's supposed to not go to particular services. So when Congress thinks someone's spending money in a way that they don't want it spent, or they're spending money foolishly or not doing their job, the 9/11 Commission, what happened? People were called in to testify. That's oversight. It's a powerful tool to use to see where the money's going. The powers of Congress have expanded over time due to a couple things. One is the so-called Elastic Clause. The Elastic Clause states that Congress can more or less enact anything that's necessary and proper to bring into execution its listed or enumerated powers. This gets kind of tricky. Some people think that Elastic Clause is really broad and promoting the general welfare, etc. is okay. Others think the Elastic Clause is more confined to the powers listed for Congress, such as raising an army, taxation, regulating interstate commerce and things like that. Interstate commerce is another interesting area. Interstate commerce back in the day was not as extensive as it is today. Just about every business today does some form of interstate trade, either receiving shipments from out of state, selling things out of state, having their products leave state lines and influence markets in other states. So Congress has used the Elastic Clause and the interstate commerce provision to really expand its power over time. Congress? Well, when it comes to military, Congress can declare war. That's not the president's job. He or she's a commander-in-chief. Congress is also in charge of raising armed forces. That includes funding, the draft, and things along those lines. The power of appointments. Really cool. The president gets to pick helpers. He gets to pick his cabinet, his executive officials that help him, and he also gets to nominate people to be on the Supreme Court and other federal judgeships. Congress, the Senate more specifically, has the power to block those, and those appointments have to be confirmed by the Senate in order for people to take those positions. The Senate also ratifies all treaties negotiated by the Department of State under the executive branch. Impeachment. No, this does not mean to cover with peaches. Impeachment means to accuse of a crime. Impeachment doesn't mean to kick out of office. Impeachment means to bring charges. That's happened twice, Andrew Johnson and Bill Clinton. Those trials then are moved to the Senate, and the Senate could remove the president from office if enough wrongdoing is found. Other officials can be impeached too, judges, congressmen, etc. In both cases, in the president, the Senate did not remove the president from office. Richard Nixon was almost impeached and probably would have been removed, but he resigned prior to that procedure going through. All right, is there anything Congress can't do? Yeah, they can't suspend habeas corpus. Habeas corpus is literally, I have the body, show me the body. It means you can't be put in jail without being charged with a crime. You have to have a reason for being arrested and subsequently charged with a crime to be jailed. Ex post facto laws, after the fact. These are cool. Let's say that you're out water skiing on a lake, and somebody passes a law making water skiing a crime punishable by 20 years in prison. And they produce pictures that show that you were water skiing on that lake. And they try to charge you with the crime. Well, they can't, because you were doing it when it was legal. You can't be charged with something that you've done while it was legal. What else can't Congress do? They can't grant bills of attainder, simply saying, we hereby create a law where we're arresting somebody or punishing someone. And you can't grant titles of nobility. Remember the kings? Those are the guys we fought against, specifically King George in the Revolutionary War. We don't want to have anyone with the title of Duke or Lord or Lady in our country. Pork barrel, what does that mean? Well, Congress has the power to spend and tax, right? Sometimes they spend money on things that aren't exactly that needed and necessary. Sure, there are some important things that Congress buys, but then there are some things that Congress buys just to help their local areas that maybe are kind of a waste of money or not very important in the big picture. This is called pork. It's bringing pork or fat or the goods back to your district. It's often spending amendments added to a local bill, and it's really designed to have the voters support you in re-election and to win favor from the voters. It's not a great thing for the economy. It's not a good thing for the budget. It's just spending money to get people on your side to vote for you in the future. Kind of disturbing when it comes to our budget when you look at the debt.